Welcome to this week's edition of the Dakota Angler 2-Minute Fishing Report. Well, guess what's back? My voice, kind of, not 100% yet. My wife is disappointed. She kind of enjoyed not having to listen to me for a few days, but hopefully you'll be able to hear me a little bit better this week. But the one thing that has definitely changed around the area has been a lot of rain. This past weekend was basically a washout for much of eastern South Dakota. We received anywhere from 2 to 15 inches of rain. 15 inches of rain was found up northeast of DeSmet, and that definitely has affected the fishing going into Monday as well as Tuesday, and as of today as well. It's going to take a while for the fish to recover from something like that. But the bite beforehand was getting a little bit better. A little, change in the summer pattern a little bit. The lakes up in the northeastern part of the state that produce walleyes included Bitter, Hazelton, Wabae, North and South Rush, Opitz, Reed, and that's gotten quite a bit weedy to say the least. And then also Big Stone, Indian Springs, and then Minnewasta, and as well as Goose. And again, as I mentioned in previous weeks, Goose has been pretty tough to launch a boat from the north boat ramp. Down the southeastern part of the state, the lakes that produce walleyes, again, continue to be the same ones week in and week out, as you would expect. Dry Lake by Willow Lake, Thompson, Ponset, a few being caught at Whitewood, as well as 81 Ponds. And as I mentioned about weeds, 81 Ponds has definitely gotten weedy to say the least. But again, don't be afraid of fishing the weeds. That's where these fish are going to be hanging out at on these hotter summer days. Fish the weed lines or fish within the weeds, and you'll find fish. Other lakes included Sinai, Madison, Vermilion, and then also Twin. And remember, Twin is the trophy lake. Now, what have people been doing to catch the walleyes around the area? A lot of people have switched over to snap jigging. That seems to be the main way to go, especially if you have a live scope of some sort, a forward-facing depth finder. That will definitely help you target the fish, and you can cast out in front of them. And people are using jigs such as the jigging rap, the shiver minnows, the hyper rattle from Acme seems to be the most popular one right now because of the rattle. But again, snap jigging is definitely the way that people have been catching a lot of these larger fish, especially since they're able to cover a lot more water than the other presentations. Other presentations that people have been using, of course, bottom bouncing with crawler harnesses or slow depth has been working well. Pulling crankbaits is always a reliable one. A lot of people have had a lot of luck with pulling salmon hornets, as you would expect, and then also shaky shads from WNC. So again, keep that in mind this next week, and hopefully in the next, let's say, 7 days, the fish will start to recover, or the lakes will start to recover after all the heavy rain that we saw this past weekend. In this week's edition of Todd's Tackle Tips, we're going to talk about two different subjects. The first one is that you know that Dakota Angler has been really the home of custom baits. We have a number of custom flicker shads, jigging wraps, as well as hornets, and that's where we're really known for. And then we also just recently come across, we have 8 new custom color shad wraps in the sizes 5 and 7. Now you'll see some of the colors that are coming across, very unique, that you don't see them in the custom shad wrap line. So again, stop on by, or these are also available online. These shad wrap custom colors are definitely going to be very popular, to say the least. They already have been, so they're not going to last long. So again, keep that in mind. Available here in the store as well as online at dakotaangler.com. The second thing is I want to talk to you about bait storage. And I'm not talking about live bait. I'm talking about plastics. There's 2 different types of bait storage that you can use. The one I prefer is these containers by Z-Man. These are called the bait lockers, and the nice thing about these, they come in 2 different sizes, one right here as well as one here. Okay. The reason why I bring these up is that's a great way to keep your plastics organized. Whether or not you're talking about difference between bass plastics or walleye plastics, or paddle tails versus split tails. This is a great way to keep everything dry and well organized. You can write on the top of it what you want, but again, these things are very, very valuable, to say the least. It also has a nice bottom to it, so it won't absorb any moisture if your boat gets wet or anything like that. So again, these bait lockers come in 2 different sizes, and highly suggest these for storing any of your plastic baits, no matter what they are. But again, keeps things well organized and keeps them dry. If you have any questions about this, give us a call at 605-336-9132, or also check it out on the web at dakotaangler.com. And now it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And And remember, folks, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to Todd at DakotaAngler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. Before we close this week's report, I want to remind you that if you have any questions concerning anything that you hear about this week's report or the previous week, feel free to give us a call at 605-336-9132 or follow us on social media. We have a number of different platforms. It's a great way to stay up to date with the latest information from Dakota Angler. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on! We'll see you next week, folks. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy, and please stay safe.